VECTTOR System instructional video. In this video, we will show you how to properly operate your VECTTOR. If you have not yet read the Quick Start Guide and Operator Manual, please pause this video and take a few minutes to review this material. Doing so will give you a better understanding of the system and how it is to be properly used. This video is divided into 3 sections. Part 1 is how to set up your VECTTOR system. Part 2 is preparing for treatment. And finally, Part 3 is running your treatment. Use the Quick Start card to reference the parts as you position the VECTTOR unit and attach its components. First, remove the VECTTOR unit from the box and place it on a stable, flat surface such as an end table near a power outlet. For easier viewing of the screen during treatment, you can pull out the stand on the back of the unit to make it more upright, like a photo frame. Next, connect the transformer to the 12-volt DC connector in the back of the VECTTOR unit. Now plug the free end of the transformer into the power cord. Plug the other end of the power cord into a power outlet. While it will work in any power outlet, we strongly urge you to plug the cord into a surge protector as demonstrated here. Remove the 2 white treatment leads from the VECTTOR case. These are the cables that split into 4 subsections with 4 different colored ends. Locate the circular ports in the bottom front of the VECTTOR system where the leads plug in. Carefully plug one of the leads into the front of the VECTTOR system by aligning the lead with either one of the ports, pushing gently and twisting slightly. Note that it might take a couple of tries for the leads to catch. Just remember to apply pressure along with a very slight rotation. Repeat this process with the other lead. Even though the ports are labeled, it does not matter which lead is plugged into which port. Remove the thermistors from the VECTTOR case. The thermistors are the long cables with temperature sensor clips on the ends. The thermistors plug into the ports on either side of the unit. Again, it does not matter which thermistor is plugged into which port. Connect one thermistor by pushing it into one of the ports until you can no longer do so. Plug the second thermistor into the port on the other side of the unit. The last step is to connect the electrodes to the white treatment leads. Slide the colored ends of the leads into the open ends of the electrodes, making sure they are fully pushed in. Now that you have the VECTTOR system set up, you are ready to prepare for treatment. Once the patient is ready, you'll need to apply the thermistors to the patient's fingers. Then attach the electrodes to positions on the body indicated in the specified protocols. To apply the thermistors, simply pinch the end of the thermistor clip like this, place the finger inside, and release the end of the thermistor, allowing it to close on the finger as demonstrated. Make sure that the picture of the fingernail is on the top of the patient's finger as shown. Most patients prefer to use the index finger. However, if you are unable to obtain a comfortable fit, it is fine to use a different finger, but you should use the same finger on each hand. Once you've attached the thermistors, you will need to attach the electrodes in their specified positions. If you are applying the electrodes to another person, it is okay to turn VECTTOR on at this point to begin the warm-up period. If you are running VECTTOR on yourself, you should not turn the unit on until all electrodes are in place. When you registered on VECTTOR.com, you were given a current protocol sheet for both upper and lower body. These protocol sheets show you the placement of each color-coded electrode. Unless otherwise directed, you should always run the lower body protocol first. Before attaching the electrodes, we recommend cleansing the skin with soap and water, or using an alcohol swab to gently cleanse the area where the electrodes will be applied. Doing so will also prolong the life of the electrodes. Using the current protocol as a guide, place the electrodes on the body. It is important to remember that the lead wires are color-coded and should be applied as shown in the drawing. Colors are indicated on the drawing as B for black, W for white, R for red, and Y for yellow. Beginning on either side of the body, place the electrodes as close to the position shown on the protocol as possible, making sure that you are applying to the correct side of the body. Protocol positions for each side of the body will vary, so use the protocols carefully. It is important that the electrodes from each lead be placed on the same side of the body. We recommend placing a strip of 1-inch tape included with your VECTTOR system across each electrode to help hold it in place. It is helpful to leave a tab folded at the end of each strip of tape to allow for easier removal. It is important to remember that the electrodes are only effective if they still have their stickiness. We do not recommend using tape to hold down an electrode that no longer has a sticky surface. As you place the electrodes, try to prevent the lead wires from tangling and keep free from blankets and clothing. This process will become easier as you gain experience using the VECTTOR. Once you have all the electrodes in place and the thermistors secured to the fingers, you are ready to begin treatment. To turn VECTTOR on, flip the switch located at the top of the unit. The first screen should display the version and serial number and the words SD card detected. If for some reason the SD card is not properly installed, the unit will chirp and the display will read, "Please power off and insert SD card." If this happens, please turn the unit off and reinsert the SD card in the slot at the top. Then restart the unit. The next screen will allow you to select the patient number. The VECTTOR system can accommodate up to 3 unique users. However, each user must have their own user profile on VECTTOR.com. Once a number is selected for a patient, it is important to always use the same number for that patient's subsequent treatments. Press the left or right buttons to move through the numbers until the appropriate patient number is displayed. Then press the select button. In this demonstration, we are going to set VECTTOR to patient number 1. When you press select, the screen will read, "Wait 4 minutes," and your temperatures will be displayed. During this time, the thermistors are equilibrating to the temperature of the fingers. If the temperatures are stable for at least 30 seconds, the machine will skip the rest of the warm-up period. It is important to allow for this warm-up period to obtain an accurate reading. Once VECTTOR has reached the end of the warm-up period or has detected stabilization in skin surface temperatures, the unit will beep and the screen will display the intensity as 0.1. In general, the intensity level should be set somewhere between 2 and 5. If after a few treatments you are not noticing results, it is okay to move the intensity level up by 1. Wait a few days and see if the higher intensity level makes a difference. If not, you may continue moving the level up, but wait a few days each time to see if the level is adequate. If you are able to feel the stimulation, we recommend moving the level down by 1. It is not harmful to feel the stimulation, but it is not necessary either. If you are a patient with a hypersensitive nerve condition such as RSDS or CRPS, we recommend beginning at the setting 0.1. In subsequent treatments, you may increase the intensity by 0.1 as you are able. Because the nerves are so sensitive with these conditions, we recommend a maximum intensity of 2. Pushing the arrow to the right will increase the intensity by 0.1 until 1.0 has been reached. From that point, the intensity will be increased by 1 until you reach the desired level of intensity. If you wish to decrease the intensity, you may do so by pushing the left arrow. Please remember that you will be unable to adjust the intensity once the treatment begins. Once you have reached the desired level of intensity, press the Select button to begin the treatment. The first part of treatment is known as the testing phase. During this time, VECTTOR will search for an adequate temperature increase, one or more, by running through a series of 8 combinations of beat frequencies while constantly measuring your skin surface temperature. VECTTOR will first run 3 combinations to search for an adequate temperature increase. If one is detected, it will automatically select that combination to run for the duration of the treatment and display a screen showing combinations, temperature increases, and time remaining in treatment. If VECTTOR does not find an adequate temperature increase in the first 3 combinations, it will continue running the rest of the combinations and will then display the combo temperature screen. Sometimes VECTTOR will not detect an adequate increase in temperature even after running all combinations. When this happens, it will select the combination with the highest temperature increase, but at the end of the treatment, you will be instructed to request a new protocol before your next treatment. Even after VECTTOR has selected the appropriate treatment combination, it will continue to monitor your temperatures and record them to the SD card. It is important to leave the thermistors on during the treatment phase. If VECTTOR detects that the thermistors have been removed or are not correctly plugged in, an alarm will sound and the screen will read thermistor error. If at any time during the treatment the thermistors become uncomfortable, it is okay to move them to a different finger. Just remember to use the same finger on each hand. At the end of the treatment time, VECTTOR will sound with a series of beeps indicating that the treatment is complete, and the display screen will display a summary of the treatment. If VECTTOR was not able to detect an adequate temperature increase, you will hear beeps and the words "Need New Protocol" will be displayed on the screen. This means that you will need to log into the online protocol request system at VECTTOR.com to request a new protocol. It is very important that you do this to optimize your successful treatments. Since the treatment is now done on the lower body, you can remove the electrodes. Carefully remove the electrodes from the skin by gently pulling on the round electrode. Never remove the electrodes by the wire, since this could damage the electrode or the lead wire. It is a good idea to take a restroom break between treatments. However, if one is not necessary, you can simply remove an electrode from one position on the lower body and apply it to the appropriate position on the upper body, according to the upper body protocol. When removing the electrodes, always return them to their pad holder. The pad holders are labeled as on one side and no on the other. The electrodes should be placed on the on side. As with the lower body, VECTTOR will begin with the testing phase, then begin treatment using the best combination. At the end of treatment time, VECTTOR will once again sound with a series of beeps and summary screen indicating that the treatment is complete. After any treatment session, you may not need any new protocols. It's possible, however, that you may need a new protocol for both the upper and lower body. When you remove the electrodes after completing the entire treatment, grasp the color-coded portion of the lead and the base of the electrode and pull gently. Apply 1 drop of Spectra gel on each before placing them on the correct side of the plastic storage sheet. If you are using VECTTOR for more than one patient, put these electrodes in a plastic bag with the patient name on it Then use different electrodes for the next patient, as electrodes are for single patient use only. If VECTTOR is not going to be moved before the next treatment, and you are using VECTTOR for the same patient, it is fine to leave the lead wires attached to the electrodes. Just be careful to keep them safely stored by coiling them next to the unit. If storing the machine elsewhere and you want to remove the lead wires from the VECTTOR, pull up slightly on the collar so the lead will pull right out. You can always refer to your operator's manual for more information on how to care for your VECTTOR system and for information on how to order replacement parts when necessary. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. If you have questions and cannot find answers in your operator's manual, feel free to contact us and we'll be happy to assist you. Contact information can be found in the manual.